Yeah, just let me get this camera straight. Yes, I'm stuttering. Who cares? The Skittles Vodka has indeed taken effect right now. And I'm just setting up the camera. Holy shit. Just a moment ago, I was noticing the room was ringing and I was like, holy cow! And I was thinking, I might need a bush. I might need a bush to get myself in the phase of drunkenness. No, I'm drunk. I'm buzzing, and my face feels numb. And I'm talking on Skype right now with a fellow who's like, I saw you drinking. I saw you drinking, talking about D&D and talking about how this becomes some in the UK. And now I'm talking to him saying, like, I'm sorry. In a jokey way, because he was jokey as well. So good times. I'm just going to keep this camera rolling to see how long I go. Wow, I'm really surprised. You know, the thing is, that apple vodka, that horrible crap that it is, they didn't touch me as much. I was pretty sober as much. Sober. And now the Skittles Vodka has really got me messed up. I don't know what it was. I think it was because a lot of the vodka was in the cereal. And it was only like 3 to 4 shots. And this was 5 double shots of Skittles Vodka, tasting the Rainbow Joy, Roy G. Biv. It was really messed up. It's going to be crazy. I think I'm going to be good for the next 2 hours. I don't need any bush. I'm drunk. What did Sam Burns say? Aww. You make me smile, dude. Had my own deal with all day D&D. D&D. I can't speak. D&D. And filming a project after the matter. Apparently it involves Skittles Vodka. It may not be a good idea to speak with me at this time. With an R. I'm just going to leave it there. Don't quite know what I will say at this time. Say, no. What I will say under the influence. Oh dear, with 2 E's. Making a fool of myself to people on the internet that I barely know in the UK. This is progress. Yep, progress. He may or may not reply. I'm on Skype right now, and I was hoping to see a little friend that I haven't talked to in a while. She may or may not be on. I don't know, this guy might speak with me at this time. This is Sam Burns. A very nice nerd. What's the word they use? Nerd fighting. Nerd fighter. That's right. Ow. A nerd fighter, Sam Burns. Okay. Oh, yeah, he's doing well this far. Oh. Oh God, not really. Currently, no. This is me drunk video, and I'm monologuing about the matter with you in it. It will make a strange video for sure. Yep. I'll just say, like, if you got it on video chat, you'll actually see it. How about that? Proof though I'm quite afraid to be on camera right now. Even quite afraid of how I will see myself after viewing this footage. With a why did I put a question mark? Okay, this is rather messed up right now. I'm just gonna start talking about things I see. This is a Shopgo receipt. I'm gonna try to put in a thing to say that I'm gonna win $250 for a shopping spree. I'm gonna win it. And this actually reminds me of a conversation I had earlier with a friend. There's a huge $1 million lottery right now, and I said to him, I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna win millions of dollars. And I'm pretty sure the time limit to sign up for that is past right now. It's 9:02 p.m. and I guess that's sad. I don't think anyone will win it though. You know what? I don't think anyone's gonna win it. I'm gonna wait till the next time it comes around and be a part of it because it's gonna be great. Lottery. The thing is, I actually never been a part of a lottery before. I never put money towards a lottery ticket myself as an adult. I'm an adult now, and I said to him, like, you know, I am an adult, I'm a man, I need to buy a lottery ticket. And that brought a lot of funny talk from the fellas at the gaming table. D&D we were having. It was small talk before the matter. Just one moment, talking, camera, drunk, ha, ha. I had to let him know I'm talking to the camera drunk. And I'm in the midst of a story. But I was saying to the friend, if I was $1 million, if I won over $300 million, yeah, obviously I'd quit my job. I once said to a fellow, my former boss at a pizza place, that I would likely keep working somewhere if I had millions of dollars from a lottery. I don't know about that anymore. I like to think I would have a job because I like the idea of being productive somewhere and doing something. But would I need to? I don't know. I would find that place in my life where I make progress happen with my money that I don't need to do it with some other business. Or I'd find another means to invest in the business that I want to support. Because thus far, the most investment I have is just being a basic worker, driver, factory worker, what have you. Not one of those people that like, I'm going to make your business run because I have the money to make it run and to make your workers happy and make things good. And I like the idea of that. Being on a wider scale, making stuff happen. Notice how I not said shit there, because whatever. I'm going to give up on that line of thought because I don't know where I was going. I'm kind of drunk. Alright, let's begin this video's chat. Clicking the button. Oh. Hello! This is Jacob Nelson speaking.
How's it going?
A little tired. You have to bear with me. I apologize.
3:05 in the morning here, so it's understandable. What time is it with you?
Oh, 9:06 p.m. It's kind of
Okay. Not bad.
Oh, but you have to realize I actually didn't fall asleep until like 6 in the morning, and then I had to wake up at 7 for 8 o'clock D&D, which
Ouch.
it's been
Tough one, man. Tough one.
It's been a very strange 24 hours.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's usually I've had to do, well, not that, but similar things on very little sleep before, and it is a surreal experience, to say the least.
Yeah. But I'm sure you didn't have Skittles Vodka after the matter. and all that.
Probably not. No, I don't think they make Skittles Vodka in this country.
I have to make
I
that.
know that it is available.
I do have to make that preface, if that's the word, for this conversation, you know, because I'm under the influence.
That's fine. I have been. I don't actually have a bottle with me anymore, but I have been slowly consuming large quantities of a beer known as Leffe, which is very nice. I'm not sure if you can get it in the United States, but if you can, I highly recommend it. It's blonde, quite strong, sophisticated, full-bodied, and rather lovely.
I have no idea what any of that means. As I told a friend of mine who...
East beer. It's quite strong, and they make it in Belgium.
As I told a friend of mine who I sometimes drink with now and then, quite gladly with, because she's good company, I can't tell the difference between any beer at all.
Okay.
I haven't developed that palate yet.
Well, you'll like this one.
What is the word again? I likely hear about it in the footage that I'm filming right now, but as it goes.
You'll have to, I'll type it for you, so you can look it up later.
Cool.
There you go.
Thank you.
Double F.
Oh, I like that. This is our first I think this is our first video chat with each other thus far.
Indeed it is.
Yay!
What do you call it? Conversation in real time.
Yes. This is kind of like sharing a pint together at this point, or do I need
I like it.
do I need to pull out a bush beer? I don't know.
Yeah. I've only got ginger beer left at the moment, which is a shame. If I had like a twist of lime and some dark, actually Captain Morgan's, if you have lime cordial or lime squash or something, and then you mix that with a shot of dark rum and ginger beer, you make a Jamaican Mule, which is my favourite cocktail mixer type drink.
That actually sounds delicious.
It is lovely. It's very sweet, but it's slipped down a treat. Absolutely.
Mm. So we're both drunk right now? Just to verify.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Fairly. I mean, I'm three... what is it? The bottles were 750 millilitres each. I'm not sure how many fluid ounces that is.
Mm-hmm.
But over the course of the last 3 or 4 hours...
Yeah, I think I'm noticing a bit. Like, I notice the quirks I go through as well. I see it in you.
I wouldn't want to go driving right now, but I probably should.
Yep.
Yeah.
This right here is the closest thing I can get to drinking right now. Bush.
Bush.
It's very American bad beer, I think.
Okay, now, this is an interesting thing. We have beer in cans here, obviously, but they're quite larger than that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
Tall?
like, you see, yeah, they're tall. Like, for example, a can like that you'd expect to get Coke or something like that in.
Mm.
But I don't think you'd ever get beer in it that large. Like, for example, even if you were buying a very large name brand like Foster's, Stella Artois, Carlsberg, I'm not sure if any of these make any sense to you.
I had Foster's, so yeah.
Yeah.
I have a story about that.
If you like more that size, like that is the normal size for beer cans here. You very, very rarely ever get smaller beer cans, like
Coke and all that.
Yeah, you wouldn't really ever get beer cans that size here.
Oh. Is this a good or bad thing? I can't quite tell. You're getting more buck for your bounce I get, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, indeed you would. Although I suppose here in England it would be quid. But I don't know why exactly that is, but it would appear to be a European standard. I think the same is true in most European countries.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah. Also, you can buy alcohol in places that you perhaps wouldn't expect.
Explain.
Well, for example, I had a German friend of mine stay with me a little while ago, and he was asking me where the nearest place to get beer was. And I told him that there was a supermarket or grocery store not far down the road from us, and he completely on his own whim, went in entirely the opposite direction, but eventually came across a petrol station, gas, where he was able to purchase several cans of alcohol and cider and various other different things. And he was going, my God, you can buy alcohol in a petrol station. That's amazing. That's fairly normal, actually. But yeah.
We have a local Quick Trip here that sells beer till midnight. That's as much as I know. Apparently that's fairly non-standard in most areas in Wisconsin.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
I would have thought you'd have had 24-hour drinking.
24. No, we still have laws and all that here in Wisconsin.
In England, up until not very long ago, like 5, 6, maybe a little bit longer ago, but fairly recently, the government passed a law that allowed alcohol to be sold at any time. Previously, you had to apply for a license to sell alcohol. And that license could only go to 11 o'clock in the evening, regardless of who, what, where, when, how. What the law allowed was that you could then buy an alcohol license for whenever you wanted it. Most places still only open until 11 o'clock. We're talking like pubs, bars, etc. You know, you have off licenses that can be open 24 hours. But there's only like select places, and usually more in cities rather than out here in the sticks where I live, that open 24 hours. You know, that you can buy a drink like that. So essentially, up to a decade ago, it was easier to get a late drink in Prohibition America than it was in 21st century London.
So should I not open this? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
What's the percentage of it?
I don't know. Let me find that.
Say, shouldn't it?
It should. Well, you have to realize I had just had like 5 shots of different flavored vodka. There were apparently double shots by the standard of what my friend said.
God damn it. Okay, right.
But I think I'm doing okay thus far. I don't know if
that's good, actually. I mean, vodka is not my tipple of choice, but I've seen what it does to people.
Yeah. Smirnoff Recipe 21. That's what that was the brand I used to make my Skittles vodka.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know quite know what that means. I just know that's what I bought because I liked the flask they had it in because it allowed me to make it proper.
No, my mum's a fan of Smirnoff. Although I'm told that any Russian or Polish person would laugh in your face if you said you drink Smirnoff to them. It is Smirnoff. You drink Smirnoff here. It is something I would not give to my dog. It is drink for how you say babushka, grandmother. It is what they use for tap water in Vladivostok. And
okay. Well, I guess well then that brings in a nice conversation of what would they use to feed their dog, I have no idea. That's an interesting lifestyle. I think they lead. So.
Well, they said that the difference between Polish and Russian vodka is that the Russians use wheat grain and the Poles use potatoes. Which you can actually use to brew vodka.
I don't know why I'm laughing so hard over that. I think it's that, I could go for some french fries right now.
Yeah, exactly. I remember actually when I was in Edinburgh, I went into this brewery shop that predominantly it sold single malt whiskey because that's what Edinburgh is known for. But they also had all sorts of different alcoholic beverages made from things you wouldn't even imagine you could make alcohol out of. For example, they had gin made out of cucumbers.
Ha! I dig that. I dig.
And they also had other, like, completely non-alcoholic stuff, like they had different types of olive oil and stuff that had been made from fermented peppers and all manner of different things. And they sold I bought some single malt whiskey there for my dad's birthday, and they were selling it. It was so precious. They were selling it in 100 milliliter servings. It was, I think, £6 per 100 milliliters, which I think roughly would be about $10, $11 per 100 milliliters, which I don't know how many fluid ounces that is, as I was never ever taught the imperial system.
Just to say, I don't know if it's a good idea to throw math at me, because I don't know if I understand it quite much.
Well, you might not this present moment, but your viewers might later.
And when I'm sober while editing, maybe. What?
Well, if you could put in an annotation as to what the conversion works out to, that might be useful.
I don't know if I'm going to be that nice to the viewers.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm getting kind of thirsty. How about I just drink this anyways?
Yeah, well, in fact, I'll tell you what, I will be back momentarily. I'll put it right here. I will just recharge my glass.
Oh dear.
It's not alcoholic, but there is the potential for it to be. I'm told that ginger beer is not, in fact, that common in North America. I found it very, very difficult to find it in Canada. I don't know if the same is true for the US.
I can't say. I don't know.
Because I know you use ginger ale like the rest of us do as mixers, but it's not the same thing. Ginger beer can be alcoholic, although generally it isn't.
Oh, we did. Cheers? Yes.
Cheers. To your good health, sir.
It's rather tasty.
Yeah. What's it flavoured with?
Water? I don't know.
Water.
It's very watered down beer, I'm sorry. It feels that way.
About vodka is that it was originally derived from the Russian word that means water. That properly good vodka should not in fact have a taste at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which seems to mean that it was originally made in order to be added to other things.
Cool. I apologize.
Look, going back to Prohibition in America for a moment, I am told that the reason that many cocktails were originally invented is that they were using very, very low standard wood alcohol in order to, because they were brewing their own alcohol.
Right.
So a lot of the time the cocktails were there in order to make it palatable.
I think it's quite true that people in the UK know more about USA history than the people in the USA, would you say? Would that be about right?
As a general rule, I wouldn't like to say. Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm aware that there are exceedingly stupid people in both countries, or at least ill-informed.
Yep. Yep.
But I suppose it's the old question of, you know your own history, yeah? Well, yeah, kind of. I know the things that are pertinent to me, the stuff that I've got interested in, the things that locally are significant, perhaps, but I don't know the whole story necessarily, unless it's the very, very brief, condensed overview that you get in school. I mean, predominantly in England, when they're teaching history, it's basically a big map of the world, and the teacher will say, okay, right, this was ours, 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 this was ours. That bit belonged to the French. I don't know how that happened. This was ours, this was ours, this was ours, this was ours, and this bit over here, that's America. We gave that back. And then there's a chorus of English school children going, oh, Timmy did that then.
That sounds like a much more fascinating story I'd like to get into. I would.
Yeah. Well,
you play it up really quite well, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, man.
You can tell I'm an actor, can't you?
Oh dear, yes.
And the more hilarious part comes to, like, oh yeah, and this bit above America, that's Canada. And oh, it's a darling little dominion, isn't it? As big as the US geographically, but with half the population of Britain living there.
Something.
Yeah. There's only 60 million people living in Britain, but there's only 30 million people living in the whole of Canada.
Numbers. You throw them at me.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
No! Oh dear. Oh.
SKOL.
That's what you got right there?
What?
SKOL, you said?
No, SKOL is actually the, it's not Russian. I think it's Polish, actually. It's the Polish equivalent of cheers. The Russian...
Is that why there's such thing as a SKOL Vodka?
I believe so, yeah.
Because that's where I heard that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know that there is a brand of vodka called SKOL, SKOL. But I believe the Russian word when you're toasting somebody is nastrovnya.
So sophisticated you are. Yes.
Sorry.
I love it.
Yeah. I only know that from playing Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. You see, there's thin layers of justification behind which just hides, cowers, in fact, this rather pathetic-looking computer game nerd.
Alrighty.
Right behind my accent and my demeanour. This rather sad, nerdy guy who gets very, very excited about, well, fractals, for one. And,
Dude, fractals are awesome, though.
fractals are my desktop background at the moment.
No kidding. Nice.
Yeah. I mean, if I can screen share with you, I'd show you. I think I can. Hang on. You used to be able to do this on Skype, but didn't you? Hang on.
Technology.
Yes, it's being beastly to me. Just doing it.
Excuse me. Oh dear. Don't quite know how you feel about gas and all that. I'm seeing advertisements for Skype right now. Oh wait, what's happening? What's happening? Oh god. Oh, well that's cool.
Yeah, that's my desktop background.
Wow. That is colorful, sir.
Yeah. I like it. I've got a couple, but this is my latest one. I didn't make it myself. I think that was the work of Clive Davidson, this one. A mutual friend of ours, perhaps.
Yeah. And of course the fractal goes on forever, and so do the rocks around it, I assume, right?
It's
That's trippy.
It's Mandelbrot based, I think.
Okay.
Right, okay, I'll
Wow.
didn't want to end up giving you a migraine there, so...
I'm just...
But, yeah.
That was colorful, sir. I'm sorry. It's just...
No, that's cool. Take it, mine.
I don't know if I can say I'm quite colorful the same. Mine's black and white right now. Of a woman being chained up in like a corset and all that. That's all I can say. Just random images I have in my wallpaper folder.
Yeah.
Previously I had one for the Goblins webcomic. And that was colorful, so I needed black and white. I think that's the reason I chose this one. Not because it was a woman. No. I'll go to the grave for that or something. I don't know.
Don't worry, I don't think you're about harangued by a load of feminists.
So how do we do that thing? And you can see what I got going at this time.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Got some woman chained up. I like to think someone's just holding the chain up at this time. And images on the side there that I'm working on at this time, because I use my desktop for video production to remind myself what I need to be doing, pretty much.
Okay, cool. You've got a much more tidy desktop than I do.
I think it's also the color and chaos that you got that sort of makes the need to tidy not really necessary.
Yeah, I mean, just saying, you've got 3 lots of 10, I think, there, and I've got 4, almost 5. Yeah, there's far too many desktop icons. That's half the reason I'm in as high res as I am, so they're all to one side.
Alright. Can I be impolite and just say, give me a moment to have one of those little breaks that happen with alcohol?
Absolutely.
In general.
Carry on.
Wait, I didn't have video on. There we go. I'll be right back, sir. I do apologize.
No worries.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. I was just saying, I wondered what the... Are those DVDs behind you, or are they just books?
Bookshelf. Full of books I never really read, to be honest. Shall we go through the story? Over in the upper left corner we have R.A. Salvatore. Very big writer for the Forgotten Realms campaign setting and all that.
Yeah.
I was given those some books in the past because I read a lot of his stuff because of Dristorin, the dark elf that's very popular and all that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Along with some other things he read. Then we have Terry Brooks from the Shannara, like his Shannara series.
Oh, my dad's a fan of Terry Brooks, yeah.
Yes. Then we got some things from Terry Pratchett that was lended back in the day that I haven't gotten back to. Good author. Good author. Other fantasy stories. Then we have a book collection of Captain Underpants.
Oh, nice.
I finished those.
Yeah.
Likely the only thing I've really finished of it.
I can absolutely recommend anything with the title Discworld preceding it.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. I will say it's one of the better things that came from a previous relationship that I no longer have at this point. One of the best.
Yes. Yes.
Because a good author with amazing insight, that man is.
Yeah, I remember actually a previous girlfriend that introduced me to Rush, which I'm quite thankful for.
That's a way to put it. That's, yeah. Yeah. Did you celebrate Thanksgiving, by the way? Random question, I'm quite aware, by the way.
No, English people...
Yeah, we don't, you don't think... You don't do that.
But,
yeah.
They might do it kind of ironically.
Yeah. Sorry. I've been really bent out of shape since that point.
Neither do we celebrate Black Friday, really.
Yes.
We are aware of both of these things because of how much American media we generally consume.
Like the millions of tweets that happen at the moment, too, and all that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. But even well before Twitter even existed, we had, American TV shows and the like that mentioned all of these things.
Of course.
I'd be willing to bet that actually quite a lot of English people only know what Thanksgiving, Black Friday and all the rest are because of The Simpsons, Seinfeld, all of that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, informally, Thanksgiving in England is known as Fuck Off Puritan Day. No, I jest. But,
I like it. I do like it. I'm sorry.
Well,
it's good.
It was, the Puritans were a group of people, you have to remember, who were so uptight the English kicked them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suppose it had something to do with the King James Bible version too, right? My knowledge on the making of the Bible and history is very vague and horrible, mind you.
Well, the thing about the King James Bible is it was the first version of the Bible that was produced in a language other than Latin, which it previously had been all the way up until that point. So all of the people who had the power of religion, which was quite strong, was in the hands of the priests and the bishops and everybody who could understand Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Only the people who could understand Latin would be able to understand what the Bible even said, let alone what the wider implications of it were. Oh. And as such, then somebody decided to translate it and publish it in English, which was massive. Yeah. It was like blasphemy, because now anyone could read this. Anyone could come to their own conclusions about what the Bible actually said and what it meant. Whereas previously to that, they could just say, oh yes, well there's chapter 5, verse 6 says, Brother Andrews is awesome. And you can't tell that it doesn't say that because I understand Latin and you don't. You know?
Oh dear.
So, there were a number of different sects of Christianity going around in England at this time. My historical knowledge of this is rather sketchy. I must precede this.
I'm aware of that line of dialogue, yes.
There are a large number of Christian sects in England active at this point, and one of them were the Puritans, who eventually left for America. Also, you had a period in British history known as the Interregnum, which happened after we had a civil war. Now, apart from the fact that a civil war is kind of an oxymoron, essentially it meant that there was one group of Christians fighting against another group of Christians, one of whom the king supported, and the other of whom was supported by most of the people. And it ended up with the king getting his head cut off.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. And for 10 years after that, we didn't have a king. We just did not have a king. That's all. Didn't have a monarchy at all.
Oh dear.
And that was known as the Interregnum. And then 10 years later, they decided, oh, what? No, Puritans, fuck this. We don't have Christmas. We don't have theatre. We don't have anything really that makes life interesting or bearable. Let's bring back the monarchy. And so they brought back the monarchy, and King Charles II was forever known after that as the king that brought back partying.
Oh dear.
Around about this time was when the Puritans were setting off for a new land in order to be uptight and buckley shoed.
Oh dear.
This is a real history lesson this evening, I'm sorry.
I'm adoring it, I have to admit. I
don't know how much of this will make it into the video, but, you know, just don't make me look like a douche.
Oh no. No. You're a good dude. You're a good man.
Beard brothers.
Now that you mention it, I'd be sporting a very thick beard right now.
Yeah, I mean, I grew this for a part, which I've yet to actually play, but I will do in the fullness of time.
You have...
What?
You have no idea how funny that is to me, because I said that back in 2010, when I started growing this out. And then it just stayed, and I was like, whatever.
Well, this might just stay, actually. I mean, I'm the only guy, literally the only guy in my drama school who can grow a convincing beard. So I feel like I kind of almost have to represent those people who can't.
Oh dear, that is funny. I like that.
Yeah. At least I can grow one.
Oh, well...
They said to me the other day, I wish I could grow a beard. I said, it's called having a Y chromosome.
Well, how soon is your role with the beard and all that?
Well, the role in question was a small part in a horror short film.
Ooh.
And I was due to actually start filming last weekend. However, being as it's England, in a stunning turn of events, it was pissing it down with rain. So the filming was postponed, and I am currently waiting to hear when we will in fact be shooting. It will hopefully be soon, although when exactly I don't know. In the meantime, I'm also rehearsing for a stage play in which the director has said, okay, you can keep the beard, that's fine, but we'd like you to trim it in this certain way. So, but they're all paying for me to go and get my hair and beard styled, so I don't have to worry about it. Which is nice.
Indeed.
I've been currently growing my hair, because after I was at drama school for a while, it became apparent that I was going to have to cut my hair. And the first time I had my hair cut, it was exceedingly badly done. Like, wasn't even equal either side. So,
Well, I'll say I didn't quite notice. I mean, I thought you looked pretty good, dude.
Thanks. I appreciate it. But then I had to get it cut properly short because I was doing a play that was set in the 1940s, so it was basically short back and sides. And that was okay, and it grew out, and I kind of had the Luke Skywalker type hair for a while, which I enjoyed, and then it got a little bit longer and looked a little bit douchey, and then it kind of looks a little bit Kurt Cobain, which I didn't mind, and now it's got to kind of this length. And I made a conscious decision, because I hadn't cut my hair for a very long time up until going to drama school. It was about the length that yours is now.
Really?
And I decided, okay, I'm entering into a profession that will require me more than likely to cut my hair to whatever I need to in order for whatever part I need to. But
I apologize for how creepy this is, by the way.
no, I like it. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I've just got this at the moment.
Yeah.
But I said, okay, provided that I don't have to for a role, I'm not going to cut it.
Mm-hmm.
Which basically means the longer my hair is, generally you'll be able to tell how long I've gone without getting a part. Although at the moment I quite like it. It's just long enough now to actually properly tie back into a ponytail. Although I've noticed if I tie this back into a ponytail with a beard, I immediately look like I'm a systems programmer. Software in my job description.
What? I don't know, that sounds like a stereotype to me. Not that I mind or anything, but...
It's a bloody stereotype, but that's immediately what I think of when they see this. Like okay, I'm going to update your hard drive and RAM settings. And by the way, do you program in C++ or BASIC?
I've seen plenty of people who have had that style, so even though like some people would say it's a stereotype, I believe it. And it's a stereotype for a reason.
Even before my hair was that long, they said, you know, you would make a really, really good geek or computer expert if I was casting you for something. I was like, I can live with that.
Yep. Well, at least you're like doing things with your beard, I say. My thing since back 2010 and all that, I wrote this script for but I never got to it yet. And that's...
Sounds good. You should do it.
It is very good, and I'm going to update it because...
Full magic. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm referencing a video of yours that was released at least 18 months ago.
Yeah. You're talking about the Two Guys One Couch video, right? Refkus?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Level up, so it was 5 magic after a while.
Yep. I will say it is quite a shame I'm not part of that anymore, but
oh, what?
As it goes.
You and him not talk anymore?
Well, that's one thing. Me and him have not talked much anymore. Me and Refkus are done completely.
Oh,
because...
Refkus, the guy who filmed it.
Not the guy who filmed it. No, Andy has nothing to do with Refkus in that me and him just filmed that series because, you know, we wanted to have some fun. Refkus itself was a LARP that was being run by a certain fella that I want nothing to do with anymore.
Okay, right.
It's one of those cases like, I used to think this guy was a friend, then like he did something that I had to question how much I could trust him, and then I realized I couldn't stand to be around him, you know?
Right, I understand, yeah.
I won't go into it, because I have a lot of things that I could say about him, but I don't like to think on it too much, you know?
That's fair enough.
I had good times from breakfast, what? From Refkus to show me how, like certain gaming ideas and things, but I can't go back to it, because it would mean being with him, and I can't do that. But me and Andy Angle, we have not made a Two Guys One Couch video in a long time, and those were good. Would you say?
Yeah, they were very funny. I liked them.
but I haven't spoken to the man in quite a long time. I think it's been well over a year since I've even seen him.
Oh, okay. Because, I mean, I know you moved, obviously, since then, so maybe you were out of touch for that reason.
Yeah. And I think it was like actually close to a year, even before I moved, since I last seen him. So we're going on over 3 years at this point. If
Wow, okay.
If my math is correct. But then again, math.
Allocation.
Yep. Yeah. I haven't seen him in a while. So thank you for pushing me to say, like, I need to get in touch with that fella.
Yeah.
He is a good, funny man, and as many of you have pointed out, I have sadly not been a large enough part of his life. He actually got married during the time that I last saw him.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I think I wasn't invited to the wedding or known about the wedding because I basically said during the process of planning the bachelor party, if the fella I didn't want to be around was going to be there, I didn't want to be there.
Right, I see.
It was one of those cases like, I can't be comfortable around this man at all.
Right, okay.
And I don't know how bad that sounds, but...
Well, I mean, I don't know what this guy is responsible for, but if it was going to cause you that much angst, then probably you made the right call by not being there.
Yeah.
Regardless of what else was going on.
Well, I actually did make a blog post about it. You're following my blog, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you were. I think I wrote a tweet to you at one point, like, here's my blog post about why I can't watch videos now. Or something.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
And I actually talked about him. I actually talk about him quite a lot, as much as I don't want anything to do with him. Strange enough. But a blog post which is called Talking D&D.
Yeah.
As well, because I started off with blog posts about D&D stuff in the past.
Right.
And that, basically wrote about what was the starting point. It was like, yeah, I can't really trust this guy, given what he did,
Okay, right.
So you can see in the past what happened there, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, talking of blog posts, actually, one of my friends made a blog post the other day, and I don't have a blog myself, because I don't feel it would be fair on anyone who actually followed it, that I wouldn't upload or post at all regularly, because I can only really write anything creatively when I'm inspired to do so, and that happens on maybe 2 or 3 days of the year. But this one blog post I was inspired to make a response to, and I actually wrote a response to it that was longer than the blog post itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a sign that it touched you, and that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it was written by a good friend of mine, and I felt I had a lot to say, and I said it. I mean, the blog post wasn't massively long to begin with, but it was definitely a longer response.
It was something that you really had to let him know about, is the thing, right?
Yeah. It was merely, I think, a point of view that I didn't think the person who had written the blog post in the first place had considered. And even if they completely and utterly summarily dismissed it, I felt I should at least make them aware of it.
Yes. Always give a man options.
Yeah.
And let them know of the world and of other people.
Yes. Which, incidentally, kind of in a roundabout sort of a way, was what it was about. It was about individuality.
Yeah. I have hands, by the way.
Oh yeah, I do too. I think it's they're common. They're fairly common.
We can mock me. It's okay. We can mock me.
I wasn't mocking you.
Mock myself with anything.
Yeah, well that's a good skill to have. I mean, I know, speaking as an English person, I'm probably going to come across as having a bit of a vested interest here, but I think the ability to self-deprecate is an extremely important one, and one that a lot of Americans don't have in ample amounts.
The ability to actually look at yourself and keep yourself humble is very important.
Absolutely, I agree totally.
But at the same time, you got to learn some balance with that, because it can be very dangerous. Family's home right now. I'm online, Mom. Live with family. As it goes.
I can't help but think of Wallowitz from The Big Bang Theory.
What? What? I don't even watch that show, but I'm like, yeah, I can see that. How much of that did you hear? Like, I'm home. Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, the room I'm in now is actually not, as many people believe it to be, my bedroom. Nice, but it's a little bit too big. It's actually a communal, almost sort of, not living room, but large upstairs communal space where all the computers in the house are.
Okay.
You got me, my mum, my dad.
Is that what I'm hearing right now in the background? Other people doing
my mum chatting with somebody else, yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully they don't disturb you too much.
Hi, Mom. Heard my mom, you may as well say hello to her.
Yeah.
I'm drunk.
I mean, I could twist the camera around if you'd like.
No! Don't make this too weird, alright?
Yeah, okay. At the moment, they're kind of, we're aware of us, they're aware of them. Well, rather, we're aware of them, they're aware of us, but, you know, we're choosing not to intrude on each other at the moment.
I can dig. I can dig. I try to actually imagine that like scenario you have right there. Each one of you having your own conversations with whoever.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But don't show me. I like my imagination better.
Conversation with someone else who's actually in the room.
Yeah. I like my imagination how it looks better. You know?
Okay, I'm not going to do anything. Also, yeah, there is a TARDIS behind me. It just turned up one day.
Good deal. By the by, still not seen a full episode of Doctor Who yet. New or old. Since my addiction to the idea of Doctor Who started up some time ago.
Okay. Now, an interesting criticism I've heard of it recently is that it's, as a show, it's littered with Deus Ex Machina. Now, I can understand the reasoning of the people who would say this, however my counter to them would be, first of all, it's not the only show that is. Second of all, even though this may be the fact, which I'm not quite willing to concede that it is, it doesn't stop it from being able to maintain dramatic tension.
Yeah.
Case in point, Superman is a Deus Ex Machina. Batman, in his own way, is also a Deus Ex Machina.
He always has a backup plan, that sort of thing.
Exactly. James Bond is kind of a Deus Ex Machina, at least when he has gadgets and whatnot.
If we're going to use the Deus Ex Machina in that fashion, at least, as they put it with Doctor Who. Yeah.
You know, they have a different sense of it, but the idea was that, you know, here's a guy who is not immortal, but pretty much any time he actually dies, he can regenerate, and he travels around time and space in a ship that is more or less indestructible and that can go anywhere. And he has a sonic screwdriver which more or less can open any door or do any other function that they choose it to. Hence, there's no dramatic tension. But actually, I think they do it quite well.
It's actually funny you bring that up. Coincidentally, in my D&D session today, we were talking about how we needed a MacGuffin to get out of a certain situation because we were being railroaded into like, yeah, you can't get out of the situation. You need a certain thing to get out and survive. Yeah. We need a sonic screwdriver or something.
Yeah, exactly. I've forgotten what mine is.
Oh dear, you have one.
Yeah. somewhere anyway.
Your credit's higher than mine. That's for certain.
I also have a sword. Just, you know,
my foam staff is in the other room.
well, you have a quarterstaff, so that's pretty cool.
I actually think my camera's gonna run out of battery power soon.
Oh, is it externally powered?
Oh no. I just haven't bothered with the external power yet. I may need to. Thank you for considering that, by the way. You're thinking for me here.
It seems like the next logical possibility if it wasn't actually powered by a USB port straight into whatever your computer is.
It's working on the battery power. Good battery, but it's been working for well over an hour at this time, even considering like the recording I did with the Skittles Vodka.
Cool.
Yay.
Is that part of another weird combos in my mouth?
Yeah. You got it. You got it.
Hey.
Yeah. Let's do the finger pointing. Yes.
Bloody Christ, isn't it?
Yeah. In the video, I said to myself, is it a strange combo? I consider it strange if only because it's not mainstream quite yet.
Skittles and vodka. I would say so.
Okay.
I mean, fruit things and vodka have been combined before, but never Skittles in that way.
Okay. It's gaining momentum, so it's going to become mainstream soon. So
Yeah,
I'm getting it.
A lot of alcoholic drinks, usually marketed towards women, it has to be said, are highly over-sweetened, fruit-based things that people drink when they can't stomach more traditional stuff like cider or beer or wine or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realise this for a long time, but apparently in America, a lot of cider is not alcoholic.
Most people don't consider the idea of cider being alcoholic. No, it's
okay, yeah.
But I do like the idea of it.
Hard cider if it's alcoholic, don't you?
I don't actually recall the last time, or if ever, I actually had alcoholic cider. Most people associate cider with like apples and like the warmed up stuff.
Well, I mean, you make it from apples, certainly, but if anything, it has more in common with wine than it does apple juice.
Indeed, indeed.
It kind of is fermented apple juice.
Don't mind me, I'm currently plugging my camera in.
Sure, okay.
This is not easy to do drunk, apparently.
Well, not many things are.
Oh dear.
Apart from perhaps eating kebabs.
Eating what?
Kebabs.
Kabobs. Is that what you said?
Kebabs? Oh, it's one of those things in England that you never, ever, ever order sober.
Things on stick?
In America. You know, you go into the, they're like the only place that's open at 3 o'clock in the morning on the high street, usually. You know, they're run by some Middle Eastern guy, and he carves a bit of reconstituted meat off of what looks like a brown, slowly rotating elephant's leg, and puts it in a pita bread.
Yeah. The gyro. I've seen. I've seen that done for like when they're making gyros and all that.
Oh,
Like the Greek treat and all that. Excuse me.
Yeah, but essentially it's like, yeah, they carve off a large piece of reconstituted meat of some description and put it in a pita bread with some rather sad, depressed-looking salad, and then drizzle whatever sauce you like over it, and people eat it. But they never, ever, ever, ever order it sober, because the idea of ordering a kebab sober is absolutely repulsive to most people.
Well, I will admit, it does sound kind of delicious right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of repulsive to me in any case, because I'm a vegetarian, but...
There we go. There we go.
It's one of those things that even carnivorous people will not go near unless they're drunk.
Don't tempt me. I might do it.
Yeah.
Sober.
Yeah, I don't even know what sort of meat it is, and I don't think most people do.
Well, they do say that the lamb. One moment. Like the lamb carving they do for the gyros and all that, if it is indeed lamb, they say it's lamb when they make the gyro, the method that you say you carve it from. But reconstituted meat, that means like basically put things in a blender, make it into a block, and then cut it off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
It's lamb, but it's lamb, bones, brains, and balls.
It's still tasty.
Yeah. I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, I guess you have to. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'd be there ordering falafel and baba ganoush maybe.
Ah, that does sound good too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Actually, my thing that I have, not always when I'm drunk necessarily, but like the overly calorific indulgent thing that I would have usually would be a cheese or multiple cheese and Marmite toasty. I'm not sure if you've ever had Marmite, but it's like it's savoury yeast extract. It's quite salty.
It's similar to that
Vegemite, but not actually the same.
I was thinking that, yes, because I have
it's similar to
talked
Vegemite.
to that.
Vegemite is the stuff that the Australians.
Yes.
Marmite is the stuff that the English people make. There are different schools of thought as to which is superior. A lot of people think that both are equally vile. I happen to prefer Marmite.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Yeasty and salty with the cheese you have before.
And you just put it in a big toasty.
Wait, a big toasty as in bread or like?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason I began to think like, what is a toasty?
Well, it's,
I'm sorry.
2 toasted slices of bread. Like
Yeah.
a toasted sandwich. You know?
I know how simple that sounds and all that, but again, state of mind.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Oh dear.
I mean, I don't actually have one of these, but if I did, I'd use like the toasted sandwich maker grill thing.
Oh, that does sound good.
Was that the doorbell?
No, that was someone going offline on Trillion right now. I have that currently online right now.
Cool.
Funny you heard that. How was the sound, by the way? It's not too reverberating or anything like that?
No, it's perfectly serviceable.
Yes. After like over an hour of conversation, I asked this. I know, but as it goes.
No, like I said, I was on Minecraft earlier. That was.
Wait, you said that? I'm sorry. Tell me about the Minecraft.
Well, a couple of friends and I set up a server a little while ago, and I introduced a new guy to it recently, and we've been working away on it. And one of the interesting things I discovered about it was that the 3 people who set it up originally, me and 2 other guys, created our own dwellings on there. And the style of dwellings we've created says quite a lot about,
Oh, hello.
says quite a lot about our personalities, respectively. Like, for example, mine is a fairly small house with a large subterranean level to it. One guy has literally a massive sand castle surrounded by obsidian, and the other guy has a large, geometrically perfect ice tower.
A sandcastle surrounded by obsidian? As I understand, that's one of the rarest things you could get, or not so much?
Yeah.
In so much that you've got to mine diamond to get it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He made the battlements out of obsidian. The rest of the... Okay.
Oh dear.
The rest of the... No, I'm okay. The rest of the castle's just made out of sand.
I dig. Nice.
Yeah. You can still see me, okay, can't you?
You are in the dark, my good sir, but I see you well.
Well, I look like I'm a floating head.
It works. It works.
Okay, cool.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm just still coming down from the high I was in. You know.
Alright, cool. Keep drinking the water.
Keep drinking the water.
No, the more traditional stuff that you get out of a tap or a filter.
Good deal. Yeah, maybe on my next bathroom break or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm told that if you match the pints of water that you consume with the units of alcohol you consume, it entirely negates any hangover effect. It means you've got to drink a lot of water, but largely the experience of a hangover is dehydration and not actually alcohol poisoning.
Yes, yes.
As I'm sure all of your well-informed viewers know.
Well informed? I don't know about that.
Well, I wouldn't want to speak down to them.
Oh, yes. Apparently it's a thing. The malt liquor video audience is huge. Apparently, it's quite ridiculous how big a thing it is.
Well, you know what the most viewed video on my channel is?
No, I actually don't. I forgot to check that out as of late.
It's the third video I ever uploaded, and it is about a curious little device called a moon cup. Do you know what a moon cup is?
No, sir, I don't think I do.
Okay. Now, a moon cup is something that they used to sell at my old work. I used to work in a health food warehouse.
Yes.
And a moon cup was a reusable feminine hygiene product made out of, well, like medical grade silicone. And they came in these little cardboard boxes about yay big, because they're only like that big in size.
Right.
Moon cups. And yeah, of course, the idea is that you just, rather than using a tampon, you empty these at the appropriate time, and that was all good. But the problem was, because of these moon cups were in little cardboard boxes, about yay big, all people had to do would be to go up to them, open the top of the cardboard box, take the moon cup out, then close the top of the box and put it back on the shelf, and no one would know that they'd taken it. So that was becoming a problem with shoplifting of moon cups. And their cunning ploy in order to try and stop people from stealing the moon cups was to put a piece of sellotape on the lid of the moon cup box, in the hope that this would deter thieves. But I remember having a discussion at tea break one day with a bunch of my colleagues, and they unanimously said, that has got to be one of the most embarrassing things to be caught shoplifting. Like, how would that go down in court? You know, what is the item that the accused has been charged with stealing? A moon cup, my lord. Or worse, how would that go down in prison? So what are you in for? Oh, I'm embezzling funds. What are you in for? Oh yeah, I stabbed up a load of people. What are you in for? A moon cup. And that is my most viewed video of all time by some quite considerable margin. I think mainly because nobody knows what a moon cup is, and the first time they Google or type in moon cup into YouTube, I don't know why you would be doing that, but assuming that you do type moon cup into YouTube, my video is one of the first things that comes up.
I like it. That's nice.
I think in America they call them diva cups.
I feel so educated right now. I love it. Well, writing down in the notepad, moon cup. I don't know if my sober self will know what I'm doing, but I'll work it out.
Okay, just bear in mind the camera I recorded it on was fairly shockingly bad.
a fairly early webcam, or?
No, it was a fairly early handycam. I believe it was called a Disco, and it ran on 3 AAA batteries. That, you know, this camera was capable of capturing half an hour's worth of footage, but the charge that 3 AAA batteries gave it would not have covered that. So it was pretty shockingly terrible. And then that Christmas, I think I got a flip cam, which I've been using since. Getting a little hot and bothered.
A little bit. Apparently, I think I'm hot. I can't even feel the span I'm doing to myself, but I'm doing it anyways.
Well, I've noticed actually that the beard acts as quite an effective windbreak for the chin.
It doesn't do much for the shoulders though, because I end up doing this.
No, that's true. Although I have noticed that if it's long enough, you can bury your fingers in it and keep them warm that way.
Oh dear.
That's quite amusing.
Mm-hmm. Would it be proper to talk about your D&D adventures? Because I remember the last time the closest we ever came to a web chat conversation was when you were on Blog TV.
All right.
And I was in the chat talking about your choice of a race for Warlock. And I was like, what?
Wow, that was ages ago, yeah.
It was a while. I was back in Milwaukee, and I still had another year before I left at that point, I think.
Okay, yeah. It was the first ever campaign I was ever involved with. A campaign that subsequently was entirely restarted.
Oh dear.
It's because there was a large period of time in between us starting that and us being able to get together again, and some people dropped out and some people joined and whatnot. So what was that Warlock character eventually turned into an Eladrin fighter, which I subsequently leveled up. His name was Galandan.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, great part. The thing that galls me about it is that that campaign was extremely well thought out and extremely I remember the D&D the dungeon master saying to us at one point, right, okay, if the timeline of this campaign is this long, you are here, and I've written up to about here. So it was fairly epic.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that we went from level 1 to level 11 in, like, natural progression during the course of this campaign.
Okay.
Like, in campaign time, we were in this place for about a month. And in real time, it was more like 9 months.
Oh dear.
Yeah. We had to write a blog each week in character, as our characters, about what, from our character's point of view, as to what had happened that week.
Uh-huh.
And if we wrote a particularly detailed, interesting, or inspiring one, he would award us extra action points, or bonuses of that ilk.
Indeed.
Yeah, I remember the group was, we had me, an Eladrin fighter, we had a human paladin, an Eladrin ranger, a half-elf, a full elf artificer, another guy, and we had a half-elf rogue. I think the best story from that whole campaign has to be this half-elf rogue. We just had a massive, epic battle with armies and things down on a beach, and it was about 3 in the morning in-game, and we were staggering back up to the local town, and we were trying to find a place to sleep for the night, but everywhere was closed. So we eventually found an inn, kicked the door in, went upstairs and crashed out on the beds, and because my Eladrin character doesn't need to sleep, because he can just trance throughout the whole night, and the other human characters were extremely pious paladins who got up at 5 in the morning to start training. I went out with them, and the only person that was left in this inn was the rogue, who was quickly established as a character trait that to determine when he actually got up in the day, it was 6 o'clock plus a d6 roll. The DM said to him, right, roll a perception check. You're asleep, but roll a perception check. So he rolls a perception check, and he goes, right, okay, you hear footfalls on the stairs, and a rather irate voice going, oh my god, tell me they didn't stay here, they've ruined everything. Is the inn's owner coming up the stairs, irate. So, quick as a flash, this rogue jumps up out of bed, runs to the window, jumps out it, shins down the drain pipe, goes all the way around the building, walks in the front door and orders breakfast.
Oh dear.
And that's such a rogue thing to do as well. Because then the owner has to go, oh, hello sir, how are you? What can I get you? Yeah, I'd like a crap, please. Oh, absolutely.
Don't think I can quite lay such great stories of my own in my own campaign, you know?
I think he was, our DM in question was highly inspired by, well, things like Lord of the Rings, but also, like the Terry Brooks books and Game of Thrones. And he also said that the recurring villain in our campaign was actually based off a villain in a book by Peter F. Hamilton. I'm not sure if you've read any of his stuff.
Can't recall.
Okay,
Sorry.
but this guy was, he was like a monk gone bad. And we discovered after a while that he had seemingly supernatural powers, even though he was outwardly just human-looking. And it eventually transpired, we managed to deduce he was in fact the chosen of Tiamat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So it was like that there were incidents where like I had double-handed swords that would have cleaved through two men, and it goes in like a tiny way. And the fact that the sword was on fire as well. And he goes, like, how's that? He goes, I'd worse in training. But yeah, lots and lots of recurring punch-ups with this guy. But it was very good. And some of the campaign was quite dark and adult as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the things that this guy was responsible for was there was a member of the duchy who controlled part of this island we were on, and she hadn't been seen in public for several months. And the rumours that went around were that she was pregnant, and we went there in order to speak with her because that was what the campaign demanded. And we discovered that she'd been pregnant, but she'd been pregnant for a very, very long time, and no one could quite understand why nothing had happened yet. It came to pass that we discovered that whatever had happened, the pregnancy had ended quite some time ago, but she was being kept to appear pregnant by a mixture of magic and herbs and drugs and things. And this guy eventually turns up who had been posing as one of her courtiers, who was a healer, and he had been posing as one of her courtiers, and eventually he turns up and goes, "Your Majesty," and then it cuts and he notices us. It's like, "You!" And we all had to roll initiative and have a battle with him.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty dark. You know, this guy has not only has he killed several people in cold blood, robbed and committed large amounts of dark magic, he has also impersonated several different high-ranking officials, ended the pregnancy of some person against their will, and also is kind of basically stirring political dissent and committed several assassinations of high-ranking aristocracy. So, yeah, kind of a dick.
Yeah. Was he eventually taken out, I assume, or not so much?
Well, the campaign in question was never fully resolved. Two of the people involved with it, who were a couple, had a child.
Mm.
Interestingly enough, the name of that child was also the name of the guys. They're a married couple, and they had a child during the course of it. And the name of that child was the name of the guy's character in the campaign, which was slightly weird. But this being the case, it kind of took on a bit of secondary importance for them. And I really hope that we actually get to continue playing it. Although, being as we haven't met for nearly 18 months now, it's looking less and less likely that it will ever be resolved.
Oh dear.
I am to the point where I'm going to go to the DM who wrote it and say, okay, even if you're not going to take this to any kind of conclusion, I really, really want to end this story in a satisfactory way, because it's really kind of bugging me on some level that there's been no resolution to this epic, and it was literally epic storyline that he had constructed. I mean, if you want me to link you to the website where we put all of our blogs in character, I'd be willing to do that.
I've been actually subscribed to the blog for a while. I don't
the
recall
SKOL one, yeah, but there hasn't been any posts there for quite some time.
I don't recall the last time I read something there. I feel bad. Oh man.
Well, the thing he kind of likened it to was all of our blog posts were kind of like the Gospels, in that conglomerately they made up one story, but it was just the story from the perspective of 5 or 6 different people. But yeah, I would very much like to finish off that campaign in one form or another, but the problem is, it's not really feasible to get all of the people who were originally involved with it together, because they now live not massively far away from each other, but enough that it would be a real commitment for them to travel in order to take part in it.
To be more than one session.
About trying to get them on to Roll20, but that's a whole different kettle of fish, and I can't really bring in new characters or new people in order to fill the characters. Yeah, I don't even know if the guy who was DMing it is free anymore. But regardless, I would still like to finish this campaign, because it was a very good one.
Your enthusiasm for it makes me feel very bad for my own.
Well, don't feel too bad. I mean, like the current campaign I'm involved with Clive and a couple of others, it's a lot more episodic. In that we started off with him just playing us through a set campaign that had been, that was one that was in the DM's handbook. We were playing out, and then from that we branched off into a much larger campaign that he had written, but used that as a starting point. So essentially, we've got ourselves established in the world. We have a base that we can go back to at the end of every encounter or at the end of every adventure. Rather than leveling up in the traditional sense, generally he just levels us up at the end of every segment of the adventure that we're on.
Oh.
Which is interesting, and a nice way of doing it instead.
Makes it more episodic than rather step-by-step sort of deal, mathematical.
Exactly. And I think the reason he does make it episodic like that is because all of us are fairly geographically disparate, and obviously we all have our own lives to live, and it's hard sometimes to get together. So having anything that was long and drawn out would get a bit difficult to do or to maintain enthusiasm for.
Does remind me of a lot of what I said in my logger time video that you commented on. May I give him another pause? I do apologize.
No worries.
Another one of those moments. This is getting kind of ridiculous. I do. Oh dear.
Brother, it's fine.
Alrighty. May that be the last break in a while, dang it. Ah! Oh dear. I will say that despite the way I'm talking about my current campaign in that logger video, My campaign is done, by the by.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten to the point of like uploading that video, and it's sort of like me and my basic backlog of everything that I do these days.
Well, you know, if you are desperately bored one day, there is a video on Clive's channel, which was a live stream of a Google Hangout we did, because what we do for our D&D campaigns is that we all start a Google Hangout, and then in a separate window, usually we open Roll20, which is a website that allows us to have a virtual tabletop and play it out through there. Yeah, he broadcast it, although I would imagine for somebody who wasn't entirely up to speed with it all, it would be terminally boring or just too long. But it would give you an idea, I think.
Written down.
Yeah, in this campaign I'm playing a Dragonborn Ranger.
Oh dear. I have no idea what that means. I assume it's 4th edition?
Yeah,
correct?
4th edition.
Yes.
Oh, Dragonborn, not a race, a playable race in 3.5.
Technically it is. I think they tried to implement it somehow, but then they made it something much easier to do in 4th edition. Like, you want to be a dragon? Okay. There you go.
Okay. He's got a good backstory. I think he had a quite interesting backstory, which is basically that he was part of a nomadic clan of Dragonborn who went about trading with people who one evening had to take shelter in a cave and were all viciously slaughtered by goblins. And he is the only survivor who managed to finally make his way to civilization, trained up with weapons and with the and survival skills and things like that, and has sworn vengeance.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Has he gotten that at this point, is the question.
Marginally, but there's still a lot more vengeance to be had, plus the fact that his character's developed a little since then, owing to the people who he's fallen in with, and the adventures that he's been on.
Mm-hmm.
The first part of the campaign we had was to take back a city that had been overrun with kobolds and goblins. And the way we got that was we got the kobolds to attack the goblins by having me as the Dragonborn pose as their messiah, because we knew that they worshipped dragons. And we taught everybody in the company to say, "It is he," in Draconic. And so we were rushing down the street going, "It is he, it is he!" And then I was blowing fire into the air, which was aided along by the fact that our wizard was can-trapping it to make it look a lot more impressive. And it was like, "It is he, it is he!" And then they got all the kobolds to worship my character as the messiah and then go and attack the goblins. And they were all pretty much slaughtered to a man, to a lizard. And we eventually did manage to clear the city.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
How do the
around it?
How do the kobolds take things after the matter? Is my question.
Well, most of them were dead, and the ones that weren't fled.
What? What? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you see, most of the kobolds had gone and attacked the goblins, who were much better organised and equipped than they were. So they all died, and the ones that didn't die fled the city because they'd failed.
Right.
And they thought a vengeful god was about to incinerate them all.
Hmm.
There was a dragon in the city, as it transpired, but not one we actually ended up fighting.
Alright. The kobolds did their duty in that they managed to wean down the goblins for your goal. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it was still a pretty tough fight. Again, being that we started on level 1 and had to work our way up. So we had the abilities to face off against any decent number of goblins, but we managed to do it. Mm-hmm. Like, fire breath comes in handy, especially when you're dealing with minions.
Oh, minions.
Well, you know, minions are there basically to make you feel badass.
I'll admit that. I'll admit. And my forays into 4E would have been very slim. And the last session I had with 4E, which was run by Andy, by the way, of Two Guys, One Couch, he pretty much got fed up with, like, I don't know what to do, I'll just throw a bunch of minions at you and one big boss.
Yeah.
Eventually turned into a, like a slaughter, and the boss was easily defeated, and he eventually gave up, like, I don't know how to deal with this anymore, I don't know what to do next. I don't know if he had any, like, cohesive plot going with what he's doing. I think he was actually running from, like, a, what's the word? Module? Yes.
Yeah.
Which is no problem, but, keeping up with campaigns week to week is trouble in of itself. And I have trouble enough with just bi-weekly. And I don't know how much your DMs work with. Would you say weekly, bi-weekly?
Weekly, if that's all possible. I mean, there have been times where we haven't been able to do it, but, or we've had to weeble some people. But, you know about the term weebling. Yeah. Well, we have weebled some people on occasion, although generally he likes to have all of us there.
Well, just this past session, we were talking about what we're going to do for next session, because one of us might not be present because we don't have a healer, and we need a healer, and all that other kind of stuff.
Well, generally in that case, the DM or someone else in the group should take up the slack.
Yeah. And it all works out, but they worry about it. My brother's like, yeah, you gotta have every base to be covered, and all that. Even though our group at this point has no rogue.
Okay.
No. So we went into this, like, dungeon filled with undead, and we were basically busting down every single door, and every door we busted down had, like, an undead behind it ready to strike at us the moment that we broke through.
Ah, so what you would need in that situation would be a cleric or a paladin who could turn undead.
Yeah, we were only level 2, and one of the things we had to fight was a ogre zombie. And none of us could turn it, none of us could destroy it, and it could knock any of us out in a single blow.
Ah, okay.
One funny thing.
Interesting encounter last session with a beholder, but it was a beholder that was already, like, undead.
Indeed.
So, not as powerful as a regular beholder, but still pretty formidable.
Indeed.
And it was the one session when our cleric couldn't be there. The one person in the party that has to turn undead, which would have made the whole thing actually bearable.
Indeed, indeed.
We eventually did manage to get past it, but it was a close thing.
One bit of, like, forgetting of the rules in this past session that was actually very thankful. We actually have a dread necromancer who, when he creates undead, he has a special quality that he installs in them that makes them akin to Balors, and they explode in necromantic energy when they're destroyed. And this rule was forgotten, thankfully, because if they were destroyed and this rule was in place, we would have been, like, destroyed by enough damage to, like, just take away half of our HP every single explosion.
Ouch.
And every undead, including the one we were trying to kill, the ogre zombie, would be healed by it.
Yeah. Oh dear. What did you do?
We have to realize we were like an hour past this situation when that thing came by, and all 3 of his skeletons were killed in this fight, including the one he summoned. And every one of those should have been, like, when destroyed, had an explosion of necromantic energy that healed the ogre zombie, which would have made that fight all but impossible to win. So, our forgetting of the rules, worked out in the end. We just basically retroactively said, like, yeah, the zombies were destroyed, but they were away before whatever,
It's one of the beauties of D&D, actually. It's that it's not just about the mechanics of the game. It's about how you interpret the rules as well.
Indeed, yes. We made it work by saying, like, yeah, that didn't happen. Because we were in a future where that thing didn't really affect us. So it worked out. Oh, charger. It fell.
Oh, I just came across something on Facebook that I found amusing. It was an image macro with Fozzie from the Muppet Show with Kermit on his back walking through a blasted landscape. And the caption said, "One does not simply waka waka into Mordor."
Oh my god. Is that considered a pun? I can't tell.
Just about. Maybe. Possibly. In a certain light, if you squint and turn your head.
I like it. I also like that you have the capacity to search Facebook at this time. I'm still trying to comprehend just having this conversation.
Okay, that's cool. No, it's just something that came up. I noticed I had notifications on there. I was like, oh, what's that? And then looked at the front page, like, oh, okay.
Random question that comes to mind, by the way.
Yeah?
Will Clive's Angels be coming back at some point?
But yeah, that was an extremely rambling and meandering answer to your question why I don't think Clive's Angels is coming back.
Ogre.
Yeah, I know. Although, the best advice I could give you would be, follow each of us individually if you haven't already. Clive especially, he's doing some very good stuff at the moment. He's got this project he set up on his channel.
Q.
Called...
Q, right?
Yeah.
Project every week.
Yeah, project every week.
I do try and keep up with everyone, but
Well, he hasn't been posting very much at all, even though he's got, I am told he's got footage all the way back to 2010 that he hasn't edited yet.
Sounds like my story. Oh boy.
Meg has 101 other different things that are distracting her from YouTube, the internet at all at the moment.
Yeah.
Life is getting in the way. God. But, and I am trying to post videos when I can. Generally, I try and at least post something on my personal channel at least once every 2 weeks. That doesn't always happen, but generally I try and keep it to that amount at the very least. I mean, I've got video ideas to keep me going for a while, but I just don't have an awful lot of time to implement them, being as I'm at drama school, and that has to come first, unfortunately.
Of course, of course.
Yeah. But, I'm in my final year now. In 6 to 9 months, it won't be the problem. So hopefully I will be able to post more often and with different things. And I want to do more collaborations, like the one that I've most recently got up on my channel is a piece that I'm hoping to put in my professional actors show reel. But I shot that with a friend of mine who I know from YouTube, who's currently doing a filmmaking degree. So, my needs and his needs kind of crossed, so we collaborated together, and I want to do a lot more of that, because I think the result has been generally well received.
It's likely one of those videos that is on my long watch list at this point. I do apologize for not seeing it yet, if likely.
It's the latest one on my channel so far. It's called "This Phone Will Explode at the Tone." It's an excerpt from a play of the same name.
Where you got like the still frame being like, ah, or something, right?
Kind of thing, yeah.
Yep, it'll likely be watched in like a month or so.
That's cool. No rush. Some of my friends at my drama school had this idea of having an afternoon dinner party so that people could go there, drink, but by the time they actually needed to go home again, they'd be sober. Not sure I'm entirely down with that idea, but maybe.
Being because...
You don't know how much you're going to drink, and plus I, unlike the rest of them, have to drive. So it's kind of a big issue for me.
Responsibility. Gosh. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I'd be fine, but I wouldn't want to... I think the main thing is I wouldn't want to feel like I was trapped there.
I can see that. I can see that. Yep. I'm sober. You can tell because I'm pretty silent right now.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Now that I'm somewhat sober now, I'm feeling like that uneasiness, like I'm keeping you from things at this point. I do have to say.
Believe me, the only thing that I have planned for the rest of the evening is chatting with you, maybe, well, probably now. I would, after I finish this, whenever I decide to.
Whenever it is.
I'd probably be going to bed. But, you know, that can happen whenever. I don't have to be up for anything tomorrow. I don't have anything that I need to get done with, you know, pressing urgency of time, so it's all good.
As it goes.
One thing I do have to do, though, is I have to go and get a refill. I'll be right back.
Very well. Very well, sir. Wait, what? No, that can't be right. Oh, no. No way! Whoa! Whoa, this is kind of creepy right now.
What?
I found something to talk about. You know that little comment I made like, hey, logger time, I'm going to make it a thing with this guy over in the UK and all that, right?
Yeah.
The fellow that I'm making a thing with and all that, he's a user known as Thomas Wade Fraser. And he had his thing back in the day making like atheist, like logic inspired videos akin to like The Amazing Atheist. He,
right,
you know, but that's where he got his thing, and he's been doing vlogs ever since. And then he had like a bit where he says like, "Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. Lager time." And I was like, "Yeah, good deal, man. Let's do that." Apparently he now only has 3 videos up on his YouTube, and every single video that he had previous to this point is either deleted or unlisted.
That's very odd.
And I just noticed this now. I mean, I had this page up for a while now because I had to like check a link to see what was new with him. But I only just now noticed after clicking his uploads thing, his uploads page, that he only has 3 videos up. And that is creepy.
Very odd, yeah.
Because every single vlog he had where he was expressing like his current affairs and all that. every vlog where he was like how he originally started his stick, you know? His Minecraft videos even. There's nothing here except like 3 videos where he's showing magic card tricks and doing a voice actor reel for like the killing joke monologue.
That's extremely weird.
It's just...
Well, I'd ask him, like, post on his comment section, though. What gives, man?
I don't know what to say, because now I look like a freak, and all like, yeah, what are you talking about, Joe somebody too? Who's this guy in the UK that you're doing logger time with? He's not doing anything like that. Because now it's a complete contradiction to his channel description saying that it's a collaboration of political issues, gaming videos, and personal vlogs. Now it's just 3 videos. He's like on a shtick right now where he wants to control how much he puts out into the world and all that. I can sort of understand that, but it certainly confused a lot of long-time watchers like myself. Especially like new watchers that I possibly bring into his direction, even though I have like an average like audience of 20.
No, it's not bad, still.
Yeah. I feel like I'm obsessing over this now. I'm going to stop.
Well, just ask him, you know.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know that the standard response when people ask, why have you unlisted all of your videos, is, this is my channel, I'm responsible for the content that's on it. If I don't want you to see something, I don't want you to see something anymore. Which, okay, I can understand their logic. But at the same time, I still feel that, you know, you've got a responsibility to the people who have actually taken the time and the effort to watch your stuff, to tell them what's going on. Like, that's why I don't unlist any of my old videos. Are they the best videos I've done? No. Have I done much better ones since? Yes. But I think it's important to know where I've come from.
I understand and respect that. That's pretty much why a lot of my things have stayed around, even though I'm quite embarrassed by them.
Amazon All the things I cannot afford. So many beautiful things. I cannot possess them all. It's quite hard.
Or is it a case where you could possess them all, but you can't? That sort of thing?
No, I actually genuinely could not. I have, on my last bank statement, it said that my average credits in my account was about £27. And that means, essentially, like, I have no income at the moment. I get £30 a week from my mum, and that is pretty much all devoted to putting petrol in my car. I try and squirrel away a little bit in order for eventualities, like getting a parking ticket or something like that, but other than that, there's nothing I can spend this money on. So I don't have any money, really. I'm hoping that as we've got Christmas coming up, I'll be able to squirrel away some for that, so I can get people stuff. But it's extremely tight always. Mm. This proves to be a problem a lot of the time, but it just simply means that most of the offers and things I get from various websites I just immediately have to ignore, because there's no point, you know. And I mean, the whole reason I don't have an income is that I'm a full-time student. And I know that there are other people on my course who do also have one or sometimes two other jobs that they work in order to fund themselves, but I know personally that were I to get a job, both would suffer as a result. There just aren't enough hours in the day. Mm-hmm. Like a typical week at drama school for me would be 30 hours, and often it's more.
I say it's best to know what you can work with and be stable, but what I'm working with at the moment is what I'm stable with. I would dearly love to have a job or some form of income, because it would take the pressure off just day to day. Indeed. I don't want to be in the position whereby if, say for example, I get a unexpected expense that's 50 quid, to be able to have to always go to my parents and say, look, I honestly can't pay this. You have to sort it out. Like, insuring my car is a big one. Mm-hmm. Like, the insurance costs, I don't know, 100 and something a year, and I've got this arrangement with my dad that he pays that, because there's no other way. Mm. But hopefully, like I say, this is my final year. I'm out into the world next August. So, yeah, God, am I looking forward to it. It is my hope at this point, and this still might not happen, but it is my sincere hope that I will be able to go to Vidcon. The business over here in the States and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
The con that the Vlog Brothers, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
They made popular.
Yeah. Well, Hank was one of the creators of it.
Yeah. My understanding of the con is this much, by the
Okay.
way. I just know like some guys got together and it's a con that's got together through YouTube collaborations and work.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I would say, because they actually got enough sponsors together to make a industry, like a panel, and to give them like perks to coming along to this con and all that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous. That's a huge investment in and of itself.
Well, it's kind of turned into, well, it certainly is the biggest convention of its kind anywhere in the world. I mean, as far as it goes, it's part just a big YouTube gathering, the biggest, but it's also turned into, I'm told, just recently, the last year, they had panels there from people who were professional filmmakers, talking to people on YouTube. You had panels there from people who were like web series creators / actors / people who were using the medium of YouTube to create new projects that previously couldn't have existed. Yeah. And Also, you've got a load of very prominent, high-profile YouTubers there doing their thing. It's quite commercial, but I think the reason I would want to go, if for no other reason, would be it's an opportunity to meet people whom I would otherwise not have very much of a chance to meet on a regular basis, if ever.
Because this is where all those people would otherwise be.
Yeah, it's like in England there's a big YouTube gathering once a year in London called Summer in the City. And last year they had over 3,000 people turn up.
Oh dear, that's right.
And, you know, it was insane. I wasn't there for that one because I was in Edinburgh performing. It is certainly the biggest one in England, probably the biggest one in Europe. If anybody is going to be at a YouTube gathering, it's going to be that one. Organised by some quite high-profile UK YouTubers, and it stretches over 3 days. There's quite a lot of opportunity to go for people. And the same with Vidcon. That's over 3 days. There's a lot of high-profile YouTubers there, and people, if they can go, they will, because that's the one thing that they can get to, and that they know everybody else will be at. I mean, really worth going if you can afford it yourself. Just, you know.
Probably not, sadly. Given everything else I have wanting to go for me, probably not. It's going to be in summer, right? Next year? Summer?
I believe it's August the 1st, I think.
The farthest I'm looking forward to is May and a month after the matter, because of certain events at this point, so I can't say.
Oh, you've got a con that you're going to in May. Is that the anime one?
Yes, Anime Central.
Yeah.
Yes. My plans up to that point are there because I sort of plan to keep my work until that point, because I don't think my work will want me around if I go to that con. Yeah,
because you're off for so long.
Yes, because factory work, they want you to be working all the time, pretty much, with no breaks, that sort of deal. That's standard, as it stands, and it doesn't make for...
What sort of factory are you working in?
For a refrigerator, frozen foods and all that. I'm the guy who picks up the box and puts it on a pallet after it's done going through the mixer, the cooker, the freezer,
Sure.
That sort of thing.
Right, sure.
That's my deal at this time.
Yeah.
I'm probationary at this point.
Oh.
If I'm
new. Yeah.
if in 2 to 3 weeks I'll know if the union even wants me around, and if they do want me around, as long as they want me, I plan to be there till May. Because it is good pay.
Yeah.
I'm not quite happy with the work. It is very monotonous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, working in a warehouse was a similar thing for me. It was like scan a bunch of products, put them in boxes, load the boxes onto a van, rinse and repeat.
Wow.
And then later, when we were incorporated with the shop itself, it was scan the products, put them on a little trolley, and then wheel it out into the shop and put them out on the shelf.
I feel that this is over at the Green Store, though, right? I feel correct.
Yeah, this is Green Life. Yeah.
I feel you sort of...
Basically, my job was like Tetris, only the boxes each weigh 10 kilograms.
Well, that and it probably more social and all that, because...
Yeah, it was a nice social side to it. It was one of the things I liked most of it.
In my environment, we have these earplugs to block out all the sound from the constant grinding and the pounding that the machinery is going on around us.
Yeah,
and we're working at a pace that pretty much does not allow us to speak with each other. There's very little verbal communication that happens at our work.
Right, I see.
And I'm not much inclination to speak with any of them at this point because I'm kind of non-social as it stands. But
there's still sometimes where it's unavoidable, otherwise it gets awkward.
Yeah. Well, even in those moments like, oh yeah, this thing's going to be ready in a bit, that's awkward in and of itself because we don't speak with each other. Well, I don't. I know the women speak with each other because they're social creatures in of itself.
Yeah.
Ever the social bees they are. But
Yeah.
the most I get are usually like verbal tirades, like "I can't believe this is happening" sort of deal, with less swearing. If because I'm a horrible person, you know. That's the most social I get, unless something's really, you know, wrong happening.
Well, there were days towards the end where it was getting... I started getting the expression on my face, which I just call $5.50 an hour. So,
that's a good description right there. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the pay I get. Yes.
Soon. And I made a promise to myself that if ever it got to the point where I could guilt-free call up and tell them I was ill, without me actually being ill, it was time to walk away, because I obviously didn't care enough to keep the job.
Mm.
And it fortunately never got to that point. I think towards the end it was closer. Fortunately, I auditioned for drama school and got in, but had I not, I would have probably left that September anyway.
It was getting on to you, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and you know, the summer of 2010 was a brilliant time, absolutely amazing. I got to go to a lot of gatherings. Both Derm and Meg came over here. We hung out for 2 weeks. That was fantastic. And I was really sad when it ended. And then I went to drama school, and the first term of my first year was the most epic kick in the nuts I've ever had. It was intense. It was a lifestyle change. It was a organizational change. I was having to really the learning curve that I had there was immense, and I was more ill in the first term I was there than I had been in the previous 5 years working in Green Life. And it wasn't anything massive, it was just I was getting colds and coughs and the flu at one point. Since then I've been fine. It was just I've acclimatized to it. But yeah, it was just a real big surprise for me. And it was at that time that I realised I couldn't make videos, I couldn't hang out nearly as much as I would have wished to with my friends, the people who I actually connected with. I mean, that was a big thing. The fact of the matter was that the people who were there at this drama school I go to, I have a good working relationship with them, but I don't really have an awful lot in common with them outside of this thing that we all do. And as such, I didn't really hang around with any of them socially that much. And to a greater or lesser extent that has stayed the same. But in that first year it was very, very much the case that I didn't see anybody other than these people from 1 week's end to the next. And I had very precious little time in the evenings to hang out with anyone online like this, or make videos or anything like that. And so I did have a big, oh my god, is this really what I want to be doing with my life moment about Christmas of that year. And then eventually it got sorted out, and my second year was a lot better than my first, but no, the first year was very tough. And now I'm in my third year, and I'm told that the third year is the hardest, and that there are a lot of things riding on you. I'm cautiously optimistic about it, being as how the second year went quite well. I mean, by the end of it I was ready to stop. But we got to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's a very, very big drama festival in the UK, and it's where a lot of comedians, like stand-up comedians, and just theatrical productions in general are discovered or break into the mainstream.
Mm.
And we'd gone there as students, which is not unheard of, but more of a rarity. And that was a great thing, but it was all student funded and organised and everything, so we all clubbed together and made a show happen up there, which was great. It was fantastic, and that was good, but it meant kind of that I didn't have a summer holiday at all. So it was like 2 weeks and then we were straight back into this year. And this year is supposedly one of the hardest, most grueling times because you're having to get everything together for going out into the world after you graduate and all of this jazz. But so far it's been okay. I'm not freaking out quite yet, which is good.
Yes.
I'm not there yet, but I can absolutely foresee a time in the not too distant future where I will be very much ready to leave the place. And also, there comes a time in every term, usually, I found, where I just get fucked off with it all and start playing the waiting game. You know, where I'm just saying, okay, how much longer have I got to enjoy this? I'll just tread water. I'm not going to do anything above and beyond the Call of Duty. I just need to get this done and finished. Which is not usually the attitude to have, but it gets that way. Yeah, that sort of 4:45 on a Friday feeling.
I dig.
So what plans have you for tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Surprisingly, even though it's a weekend, free to do whatever I will, I made no plans for myself.
Yeah, well, I made some plans for this weekend, but the ones for today kind of fell through. I'm trying to just take it as it goes. There's several things that I probably should do, and I hope to do at some point in the future, but I've not made any absolutely concrete plans to do them. I like weekends to, in as far as possible, be open-ended.
I always like my weekends to be about other people than myself, because I sort of self-indulge during the week to make myself sane.
Yeah.
If only because it's the only time I can give my time to other people, because that's when they're free.
Right. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Which is why I'm sort of upset about this in about 30 minutes Sunday.
Yeah.
Given that I know there's some friends that I can see locally to visit and all that, but I haven't bothered to say hello and say, hey, are you free at this time? And I don't know if they're keen on like me just calling up and saying, hey, are you free? Let's do something now. If only because they might not have their own plans and that sort of thing.
Well, I was going to say, you're in Wisconsin, right?
True that.
Yeah. I might have mentioned this in a comment in one of your videos, but there's a guy in Wisconsin who I follow called Dr. Noise. His real name's Bill.
Dr. Noise?
He's a YouTube musician, but also does vlogs. And
is he the one who made that like a song that I heard a lot of, or is this someone else that I'm thinking of?
You have to give me more than that. I'm sorry.
Was it Dome's like intro video?
Yes.
It is that same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a Wisconsinite. That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah.
Well, that was the.
Occasionally he does local concerts that I'm sure they'd be well worth going to, and I believe his actual day job is that he's a. We have a different name for it in England. He's a stock car racer, I think you'd call it.
Stock car?
No.
Race car driver?
Yeah, like
go-kart racer?
NASCAR, or not NASCAR, I don't think, but yeah, he basically he's a racing driver. Yeah.
I'm adding this to my notebook.
Speedway.
Just to make this more accurate.
Yeah.
Dr. Noise, was it?
Yeah, Dr. Noise.
Wisconsin racing driver.
Crosse, I think. I don't know if that's anywhere near you.
Crosse? Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you about lacrosse.
Oh,
I had this friend that went to college there.
yeah.
Way back in 2008, before I moved to Milwaukee. Went to see him, and we had this great college night out of town, checking out lacrosse and all that. And I'll totally be back here. And
Yeah.
since then, he only visited me once in my apartment that I shared with a friend of mine, and we haven't seen each other since. And I've only saw him again 2 months ago when I went to visit, because I actually got some cash to do as such. Otherwise, I've been working non-stop trying to say I'll eventually save up that cash when the job I have can't save up cash. Now that I actually can do that, we did see each other, and 4 years to get back to Crosse, to back to that town. It's not that bad of a drive, but the fact that I couldn't afford that drive at all was annoying. So
Yeah.
I know lacrosse. It is a fun drive.
Your comment on the video where Meg and I were first together.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this thing oh my god, you flew across an ocean to go and see this girl? I can't even get across a state. That's the situation I'm in now.
That is exactly that example, the story I gave you was exactly why I said that I probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is the situation I'm in now. If I want to go anywhere, I have to think about, okay, I've only got half a tank of petrol. I only ever have half a tank of petrol.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to think about how much it's going to cost me to get from one place to another. Generally, if I need to travel more long distance, I go on trains, because in this country I can get a young person's rail card, which entitles me to a discount.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, that's quite expensive as well. It can become a problem.
It is a very stressful fact to live with.
Yeah.
Living with what you want, but what you gotta accept, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Ironically, when I had money, I was never even tempted to, buy a lottery ticket or scratch cards or anything, and I still don't. But the temptation is a lot more now. And it's the psychology of chance, isn't it?
Mm.
Is that, if you've only got £50 in the whole world, then spending a tenner on a, betting ticket or something it represents a large amount of your money, but the possible return on that is so much greater.
Mm.
Whereas if you've got £500 and you spend a tenner on a lottery ticket or something, then it's less, and so there's less incentive there.
Hmm.
So, ironically, the less you have, the more incentive there is to spend more of what little money you do have on stuff that is unlikely to give you anything, but might. It's like we have a national lottery in England.
And it's funny, it's very coincidental that you bring this up too, because we were talking about the Powerball, which is our thing here in the States. It's it's over 300 million at this point, done every 2 weeks, and whatever is given to that, it rolls over to the next one.
Yeah.
I was saying to myself, gotta buy a ticket because, only $2-3 for a chance of over 300 million.
Yeah. However, if you think about the odds of how many people are also buying a ticket, how many people are buying multiple tickets, they work this out. These odds were for the UK National Lottery, I have to say. But the odds were, roughly speaking, about 20 million to 1. Yeah. Now, in order to try and illustrate that, they said, if early man emerging from the cave, if their first instinct had been to buy a lottery ticket, and they had done so subsequently for every week since, up until now, then the odds are good that they may possibly have won once in the whole of that time. So we're talking between 100 and 200,000 years. against winning the lottery?
Oh man, one of my D&D bros brought up as well. Like, you only want like 1 or 2 tickets, because after you get 5 tickets or more, the diminishing of return or all that. What's those saying?
Diminishing return.
Diminishing return. He brought up that line, because at that point you're just wasting money on these tickets.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter really how many tickets you buy. I mean, even if you buy 100 tickets, that's still 20 million to 100. You'd have to spend more money than you had, or more money than you're likely even to win a lot of the time, to have a decent chance of winning.
I think there actually wasn't someone in the U.S. once that took out a loan to buy like thousands upon thousands of lottery tickets on the chance of winning.
Yeah.
I never did look back into that. I just like heard it and I thought, yeah, that's kind of cool. As with most stories.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
That's wrong in an English.
Thank you, by the way, for saying that. Because no one says cool story, bro, around me. I've been doing it for years now. No one. I mean, even the one who, like, the most meme-worthy man that plays D&D with me, like, he does the like, the Gooby Please, Dobie Please? What is it?
Oh, yeah.
He does that all the time, but, like, the cool story, bro? No.
The one that I refuse to do of late is, YOLO. Because I think it's, most people,
Oh, yes.
most of the people who actually do use it, I either didn't have respect for in the first place, or I lose a tiny bit of respect. Yeah. It's like Carpe Diem, but for stupid people.
I've done it a few times, said YOLO, but in an ironic sense, like, that's pretty stupid. And that's funny to me.
Yeah, the friend of mine, Joel, who shot my latest video with me, he did a couple of things on, well, we don't actually have the proper lighting for this scene, so we're just going to have to improvise because YOLO. And you'd use it in an ironic sense like that, but no. I think that would be legitimately worthy of inclusion on the shit nobody says meme. No. Shit nobody says. You don't say YOLO enough.
I've been watching like Know Your Meme for quite a long time.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
It is good, and half the things that are memes I wouldn't know without it.
The attached girlfriend. And you know what actually strikes me about that meme is it's quite compelling in the first instance, but you realise that the more you try and find out about overly attached girlfriend, the more you're actually emulating the meme. It's like, okay, who is this girl? Where is she from? What is even her name? You know, look, what is the history behind it? Oh my god, I'm turning into overly attached girlfriend. As it so happens, she does actually post videos to YouTube. In fact, the first thing, I didn't even realise this. I thought it was just an image macro that somebody had found on 4chan or Reddit somewhere and had actually put the captions over. But someone had got the picture originally as a screen cap from a video that she did.
It was like it was a joke submission to a Justin Bieber concert.
Yeah.
That's right.
Apparently, recently she got the opportunity to see Justin Bieber at a concert, but she hasn't posted a video since. I'm wondering if the next video will be her doing the face at him. That would be
oh my god! That is very creepy.
Did you see the video that she did for Samsung, their advert?
She did an advertisement?
I think so.
No. No. Okay.
I'll link you to it.
Oh, this is kind of like, wow. Well, good for her for getting the deal and all that, but wow.
No. You see, the thing about it is, it looks like something she probably had a bit of, largely a large amount of creative control over, because it looks like she's filming it in her house or whatnot, but anyway.
A Samsung commercial at her home. Oh, wow.
Also, there was a what was it? A sketch that some other guy did involving her, which was entitled "Breaking Up with Overly Attached Girlfriends," which obviously could not have worked without her being a part of it. So, but there's the first one.
Oh dear. Good for her, I'd say, if she's managed to work it out. Sort of reminds me of Brandon Hardesty, the man who, the one man acting troupe who redoes a lot of like famous movie scenes. Granted, his only commercial online was the one where he was making funny faces and videos for a Geico commercial, was it?
Oh yeah.
He deserves more fame than that, I feel. And since then, his biggest role was playing Cartman in the live-action South Park episodes.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that.
I'm keen on his old work, even though I'm pretty sure it doesn't give him much clout.
Geico, don't they do car insurance?
Yes.
All right, yeah. So not a company we have in the UK.
They're not worldwide?
No.
Oh.
Or they might own a company based here, but they're not a name brand here. There's one of the things I really enjoy about having friends in different countries and continents. It allows kind of cultural exchange on a personal level in a way that I don't think human beings were, well, not that they weren't capable of before, but didn't really have the facility to take place before.
The internet has provided, they cut out the buffer of time and made learning much faster.
I remember Meg was probably one of the first people who I chatted to extensively. He was in another continent, another culture, and it was interesting to see just how there were some subtle differences that you wouldn't immediately pick up on. It's weird. It looks like I'm ever so slightly green.
You are green. What you talking about?
But it's like that weird bluey green that gets when a camera's overexposed to red. And I know that my t-shirt's red, but you can't really see that very well.
I have a good imagination. So... now that's even more green. Mind if I ask for one more bathroom break? And then that'll be the very last one?
In fact, I was about to say I need to go for one myself, so... make this a mutual one.
See you in a bit. That's our deal. Oh dear. And I am completely sober. For the most part. Now just basically exhausted.